What's up, everybody? Welcome to Butcher's Corner. Let's go ahead and get right on into it. So starting things off with AMD, it's got a beautiful fail 2 on it, also kind of creating a mini trend here. And if we zoom out, we can see that it also bounced off of this area pretty hard before. So it's looking like maybe it wants to do that again. With that being said, beautiful fail 2 in here. We're going to go into the 30 minutes to start seeing where price targets can come from. This is actually meant to be right here. There we go. So this is where the first PT is, second PT, third PT. Now the reason why is right in here. We can see where all this is wicking through. Again, right over here, it's having a little trouble. Right in here, this has a lot of trouble getting above it. It's that final stop. And then if it does keep pushing past that, I think it can reach up to here. I am not expecting this in any way to reach the top of this or the top of this because it's just a very large amount of movement for it to climb. Could it? Sure, but I'm not going to be holding my contracts the entire time. AMD, I also am going to be suggesting, the 182.50, but for same week, 182.50 is what I'm going to be suggesting. You'll be in the money by the time you get up here. You'll build nice intrinsic value along the way. So it looks really good. Next is Meta. Meta, I'm looking at the 510 strike on. You could go out to the 515 if you wanted to save some money, but this is where I'm personally going to be shopping. With that being said, the 30-minute time frame, if we zoom in here and start seeing where things are coming from, boom, right in here, boom, right in here. And then it does continue on to the top of this candle right here because there's a big gap in movement between here, and even going down to the 1 minute time frame, there is no pivots. That just minute just bled. So because of that, I had to go further out to see, is there a possible stop we could bust through? And sure enough, it is right there, top of this candle. Of course, you can see the walls a little bit more clearly now on the 1 minute time frame, but it's neither here nor there. It's where the price targets are coming from for Meta. It looks really, really juicy for tomorrow, actually. A lot of things do, to be completely transparent, including Amazon. Amazon looks great going up in this area. Looks like it wants to continue that yearly movement. Excuse me. Going to the 30-minute time frame, I love the price of the 180 contracts and that you'll be in the money, but pretty much right up here. Going into the 30 minutos. Real close bugger right here. Hey, can't ignore it. It is right here. You can see all of this has trouble with it. All of this has trouble getting below it. Wicks past it, wicks past it, wicks past it, bounces off of it, wicks past it, finally dumps. After we break through here, I think we'll come test the top of this candle right in here. After we break through that, we'll test the top of this candle, the top of this candle, and then the top of the day. And this just, as you can see, is pretty much like a classic case of steps where we're taking out the swing highs as it was coming down. All right. Now, I actually really like the way that Amazon, AMD, and Meta look. However, BA is screaming on the daily that it's exhausted. Now, there's a play on the daily and there's a play on the weekly, but for the daily, it definitely is screaming, hey, get me the heck out of here, right? This doesn't necessarily need to be a failed 2 for it to scream which direction it's going, and this wick is screaming what direction it wants to be going. Moving down to the 30-minute time frame. Well, actually, let's go over this first really quick. Yeah, I'm suggesting the 187.50, which you'll be in the money right over here, and really inexpensive price. Take your limit order and adjust it to the downside if you do see spreads are a little bit wider on it. Remember, that's always one thing you can do. Moving to the 30-minute time frame. Right here, you can see this wall, second pivot point right in here, third pivot point right in here where all of this gets choppy. Now, this is going to be the spot that I'm not necessarily sure we're going to break down past this, especially since we have this purple trend line, which is a royal trend. You know, it's always going to be algorithms around this area. If we do break through that, though, we will come test out the bottom here. And I don't even see us testing out the very bottom of the price targets that we had before. That would be a humongous movement to make in one day. But I am anticipating it getting right around here. And that is a very great movement for BA to make some money off of. Moving on into Netflix. If you're a big spender, you're going to love this. Netflix is giving a juicy actionable signal. And 6:30 is where I suggest, again, change your limit orders when you're putting in your order. You should be A-okay. With that being said, there is some close PTs, so let's go over them. Got to pay attention to the wicks. You know, we can't ignore these wicks. Huge wick right in here. Second, third, these are just, they're trying to come up, push down, trying to come up, push down, trying to come up, push down. So next time we try to come up, we got to be ready for that. We got to be ready for that. If we do break past that, then of course we can reach the high of the day. But more importantly, there are some earlier pivots along the way, with those being found right in here and here and the top of this is actually the top of the day. So I'm not sure why it kind of is looking like that all the time. But yeah, as you can see, it's just the top of the day. Let me get rid of that. Netflix is really good too. I do kind of dislike how close these are with their wicks, but if we break past those, we're gonna freaking zoom. We're gonna zoom if we break those algorithms. Now, Apple's been in the news like crazy, but we're not news traders. We are price traders, and we're bouncing off of the trend. Every time we get in here, we like to pop up. Wouldn't you know, we're right back in this area, bouncing off the trend, slightly popping up. If that continues, moving into the 30-minute time frame, we can see a pivot right here, a pivot right here, and a pivot right here. And this is just 3 steps, right? If you were in puts, where would your stop losses be? Well, here, so it keeps going here. Then when this candle closes, your stop loss is here. Then when this candle closes, your stop loss is here. And then when these candles are going, you zoom in, you go to the 5-minute, you see, ooh-wee, would you look at that? Right in here, little wall, right? Got to get past that bad boy. If we can get past that bad boy, we're going to keep going up to test all these other things out. Apple just bled with news of the lawsuit coming out and all the open doors that have been opened now to sue Apple, including by our own government, it seems. So with that being said, Apple does look really good, but you do have a lot of news, and that news could be in your favor or not. We'll find out, right? I can't predict the future. Pulls out a crystal ball, rubs it, sees the future. So BAC, beautiful fail 2 off of BAC. Moving to the 30-minute time frame, a classic case of steps. If you were in calls, where would your stop losses be? Here, here, and here. Super simple. BAC is not a complicated one for the next day, including the strike price being at the money. You know, 37 is where I'm going to suggest to be buying. And that means that our final daily is going to be Tesla. Tesla, beautiful gap down, reached right back up to fill the gap. And it looks like it wants to continue that movement. I'm going to suggest the 172.50. And how crazy, can we just talk about how crazy it is that same week's contracts for Tesla are cheaper than AMD right now? What are we living in? The future? But yeah, that still blows my mind to this day. I remember when Tesla contracts were like 10K a pop. Amazon contracts were like 4,000, 5,000 a pop. So stock splits are really great. We'll talk about NVIDIA another time and how that is going to come to it soon. Let's go to the 30-minute. Start seeing where we can see some things. First pivot is going to be right off of here off of this 2. Second one right off here where it was swinging high and then just stopped and started coming down. Right here off of this, where look at this. Look at this. All this trouble. All this trouble. Then we'll reach the top of this 2. All this trouble. Then, before we reach the top of the day, we're going to have to come test this bad boy. You can't ignore things like this. This thing was pushing up, hit a wall, dropped. Can't drop. Can't drop. So, next time when we get up to this area, we're going to test it before we get to this one. And that comes from all the way over there. So those are all the dailies. Congratulations if you've made it this far. You have a bunch of daily plays to look for. Now, let's get to where the big money's at, which is going to be the weeklies, right? The weeklies are where more money can be made because you have more range. ABBV 180 strike price is what I'm looking at for next week. Again, adjust the spreads, adjust the spreads, adjust the spreads, adjust the spreads, adjust the spreads. Hopefully you heard me. But yeah, 180 is what I'm suggesting. And we're going to go to the daily time frame to start finding pivots right in here, right in here, right in here, and right in here. Now, this is easy because you can see how these things wick through it, and then we do 3 days, just chop through it. Again, here, wicking through it, chopping through it, chopping, chopping, wicking and wicking through it. Remember, if it wicks through it, then it comes down and closes below it, then it's probably just an algorithm triggered maybe a little bit later, right? Orders got filled a little bit later. The price was able to keep going, and the orders went in, and then now it's going back down again. Couldn't close above this. Then we'll reach the top of here, which here and here wick off of, and here is just the barely breaking of it, and then the top of the previous week's high, which would be testing out this trend all over again. Really like the way it looks now. BA, I'm looking at over here for the weekly. Sorry, you don't see the strat symbols on it. Believe it or not, I don't always trade with strat symbols on my chart. Sometimes my charts are very naked and they don't have numbers on it because I know what a failed 2, the 1, what a 3 looks like, right? With that being said, moving into the daily on this, here I put it at the bottom because of a gap fill. If it just fills the gap, and this is where it's going to stop and then start coming back down. That's entirely possible for it to just gap fill. But we have 2 PTs to that gap fill. If we break that, then we'll test here, which this wicks through, this wicks through. Over here as well is wicking through it, unable to get above it. And then the final PT would be right in here. Now, BA, I am suggest the 195 on. That is a little bit farther away, but that just goes to show the range that you have. If this bad boy gets to 205, you're going to be sitting so pretty. And you'll probably be like, hey, Dylan, I love you. Thank you. A guy could dream, right? MO, I'm looking at the 42.50 for next week. Really inexpensive contracts. Gonna be able to make some nice money on that for sure. That breaks entry. Moving to the daily time frame, we have pretty much just a classic case of steps right in here, right in here, right in here. But because of the big gap in between these two areas, I actually did zoom in, and I zoomed into the 30 minutes. I wanted to see like what's going on between these two areas and like where is that wall going to be? And it's right here. We can see we come up, we dip down, we come up, and then we try, and then take off. So here is where this wall is going to be for us to test that out in the middle of those weekly price targets. Yeah, MO looks really, really great. I am pretty excited for that one as well. I'm not going to front on you. QCOM looks chef's kiss. Is setting up one of my favorite actionable signals. 175 is where I'm suggesting the spreads on this is awful. So what do? You adjust them. You say, no, I don't want to spend that much. I'll spend this much instead whenever the order hits, if the spreads are terrible or if they're too bad, just don't take the play. Just let this one go. There's plenty of others to choose from. That's the amazing thing about stocks. Is it's not one play forever. It's several opportunities throughout the entire day, throughout the entire week. This is a beautiful setup though. So let's go ahead and move into the daily to start seeing where price targets are coming from here. And then because there's not that much range on this, I did go to the 30-minute because I wanted to see where is this thing really going to be wicking off of. Right here. And then look, you can see how all this has trouble. Right here, the top of this candle, where all this has trouble getting below it. So there's an algorithm right in here. Right here, where all of this kind of gets into a standstill and starts going sideways at the top of this. And then the high of 2 on the, not previous week, but week beforehand, just right in there. So that's where QCOM is coming from. It's the strike prices that I'm suggesting. And then Walmart. Walmart definitely has exhaustion, right? We've gone over this several times. Who has control of this candle? This is what the sellers have control of from the close to the high of the day. What do the buyers have control of? They have control from the low of the day to where it closed. So with that being said, taking a look at who has control of this candle, it's the sellers. The sellers have control of the week. So if they continue with that control. We could see that break down and start taking out some price targets here, 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 and here. These are the areas that I think we're going to test. There's really not anything like super complicated about this one. Instead of it being like steps up, it's like all of these steps, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. But that's what I'm looking at for Walmart. The Walmart strike price that I'm looking at is going to be the 60 for the put. Right in here. Really like this. And Walmart for calls doesn't even have contracts really made for it up here. That's why you see we're going like 33 cents, the weird stuff like that, because Walmart is up right now into a place that it hasn't normally been in, and thus contracts to the upside are not as they haven't been used as much, right? They haven't been used as much, and they don't become as normal because price just hasn't really been here. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for Walmart. After that, fail 2 on Z. This is a great smaller ticker for those that have a smaller account, right? I am going to be looking at the 52 or 53, whichever one of these tickles my fancy at the time based on spreads, huge spreads at the moment. Adjust them the way that I've shown every other time. And you'll be just fine. If we go to the daily, we can start seeing where these pivots can come from. Now we have a big drop off here, but then we have a wick here, and then right in here, like look at this wall, right? Look at this wall. We're gonna have to get past this, which is clearly an algorithm since we bounced off of it here, before we can reach the top of this, right? We have to get past this before we reach this. If we can get past this, then we'll come test this out, which is higher than all of this choppiness, but where some things are still wicking off of. The top of this too, which you can see coincides with where this drops, starts getting real wicky in here, bouncing off of it to the upside before eventually crashing through. And then the top of the previous week right in there. Z looks very good for anybody with a smaller account that likes to trade the smaller cap tickers. Z looks really good. And if anybody's in real estate, we'll make some freaking money off of Zillow. Why not, right? Screw them, you know, messing up all of our stuff for so long. Give us some freaking money back, Zillow. Man. Yeah. Incredible fail 2 on V. One of the best looking fail 2s that's out there, to be completely transparent. And the strike price that I'm going to be looking at is the 182.50. Again, adjust your spreads. Adjust your spreads. If they're wild, adjust your spreads. But you do need time for these to play out. If you're getting same week contracts, your theta is going to start eating you the freak alive on Tuesday and Wednesday before you get a chance to really swing anything. Whereas you could get a 12 theta and much easier to deal with, much easier to make back when your delta is 44 and moving in your direction. But when it's 25 and 42, and then day 2 of holding on to the trade, it's 35 and 42, and then 45 and 42. You're going to start losing money even when it's going in your direction just because of theta and you're buying same week contracts. Don't do that. It's insane. If you're swinging things on a weekly, you need to buy time. Time means you got to buy farther out expiration dates. Simple as that. That being said, moving on to the daily to start seeing where these pivots coming from. I hate that this sucker is right here. I hate it, but it is. It is. We came down, we hit right here, and it looked like it was just going to keep on bleeding, and then it said, nope, and kept going up. So guess what? When we break entry, we're going to have to make it past this little sucker, where this and this and this all had trouble doing it. Once we break through there, then we'll test the bottom of this, which look, these had trouble getting to the upside of it on. This is great. We're underneath the trend as well. This is good. As long as we keep this going, then we'll test the bottom of here, chop city, bottom of here, chop city through the downside, right? Wicking it, finally breaking it, false breaking it, wicking it, finally leading. Then the bottom of here, look at all these wicks crashing through it. Same thing right here. And then the bottom of that too. V looks so good. We made some money off of V. What was it, a daily? I don't remember. I remember Roger showed it. I showed it. We had made some money off of V the other day, last time it was on the watch list. I want to do it again. I want to take some money from Visa, charge some stuff on my Visa, pay my Visa off with the Visa trade, right? Isn't that fun? I want to do the same thing with MasterCard. Do the same thing. I just want to do the same thing with MasterCard because it looks so beautiful. This setup actually looks so beautiful. The exhaustion on this is screaming, I want to go down. I want to go down. It is screaming them. We got to make sure that it does by breaking the entry. We don't get into it without it breaking the entry, but if it does break the entry, I'm looking at the 475, right? I'm looking at the 475. You'll be in the money by the time you hit PT1 because on the daily, you have range. And that range is going to do you very well. Entry here, PT1 here, 2, 3, and then, of course, the bottom of the week. But this is just a classic case of steps. If people have been in calls, their stop loss is here until this candle closes. And then when this candle starts, it stays here. And when this candle closes, their stop loss moves to here. And when this candle closes, their stop loss moves to here, which wouldn't you know it, is the exact same places right here, right? And then entry, which is also going to be where people have their stop loss. Let's just be honest. People are going to have their stop losses here too, which is why if we break entry and they get removed from the trade, we're going to push down, see if we can remove these people, see if we can remove these people, see if we can remove these people, and so on. Really love the setup on it. I know this is a bit longer than the normal daily videos, but I hope you made your way through it. I hope that you've learned something from it. I hope that whatever play that you end up getting into, you build confidence on based off of this. And also, let me know which play you're looking forward to the most. I can't wait to see y'all's wins. And however big or small they are, I don't care if you win $20. I don't care if you win 2,000. I want to see it because it's not only encouraging to me, it's encouraging to y'all. It shows each and every person that like, dang, I can do this too. So-and-so can do this. I can do this. Maybe I missed the day. Maybe I was nervous. Maybe I placed a bad trade and now I'm trying to get over a little PTSD. But when you see other people taking signals, other people taking the things that have been shown to them and winning off of it, it's just going to build their confidence too, on top of yours. So God bless. I love you all so much. And I will see y'all very soon.